Hey guys, it's Alex here from Homey. And in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the smart devices from IKEA, also known as IKEA Trådfri. Now, IKEA is well known for a lot of things, but smart home is not yet one of them. But I kind of wanted to highlight some of the benefits you get to IKEA Trådfri devices. And one of them is their price. So they're very budget friendly. They all run on Zigbee, which makes them perfect to connect to Homey Pro or Homey Bridge. Now, IKEA has a wide range of different smart devices, from smart lighting to remotes and plugs to smart speakers made in combination with Sonos, and even smart blinds. And I've got one installed up here just out of shot, but I'll be showing that off in a moment. Now, what I want to do in this video is give a brief introduction to the different devices IKEA has on offer, show you how to pair them up to Homey Pro in this case. You can obviously use Homey Bridge, and the pairing process works in exactly the same way. Now, they're all still boxed up, so what I'm gonna do, get them out of the boxes, put in the batteries, and then I'll show you how to pair each device up to your Homey, and we can get started with creating a couple of creative flows to really get that seamless smart home experience. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, I've got them all out of their boxes, so they're ready to go. Now, a few of them came with batteries, and a few still needed some, like this one needed 2 AAA batteries. So make sure you kind of read the packaging so that you're ready to go with the right batteries when you buy them. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'll pair them each up to Homey, and we're gonna kind of fast forward through the process because it is quite repetitive. And Homey always comes with detailed pairing instructions for the device you're looking to pair. So as you're going through this process yourself with devices you're bringing home from IKEA and adding to your Homey, then you'll pretty much be guided through that process. But I'll show you really quick how it goes, and we can just screenshot a few of the pairing instructions for you to refer to in this video. So I'll see you guys again in a few minutes. Okay, let's pair. Six. You'll hear the plug switch and you'll see the light start blinking. Let me take a little pause here. So right now, I want to pair up the signal repeater from IKEA. And a signal repeater for a Zigbee network is quite important. So Zigbee works as a mesh network. And you have end devices, which are often the battery powered ones. And you can have router devices like this one here. And actually, it's just this component that works as a router. Now, router devices are the ones that are always plugged in to a power source. So lights running on Zigbee often work as router devices as well. And routers are used to extend your mesh network. So it's handy if you have, let's say, buttons or remotes that are placed far away from your Homey. To extend the range, you can add devices like this or powered devices like the light bulb. Now, let's pair this up to Homey as well. Okay, it's plugged in. Now, the signal repeater is also added to Homey, and it'll act as an improvement of the range of that Zigbee mesh. Now, what's cool about the signal repeater from IKEA is that actually if I flip it over, you'll be able to see that there's a USB outlet on this side as well. So it doesn't just take the place of a USB outlet on, let's say, a phone charging device, but you can also plug a USB still into it, so it doesn't really get in the way or take up a socket for you. Now let me put this to one side. And now I'd actually like to show you how to pair up a IKEA smart blind. So IKEA has 2 different sorts of smart blinds. One is completely dark, and the other one is a lighter gray that you can actually see through. And they have 2 different names, and I'm not gonna try and pronounce them, but if you just go to the IKEA website, you'll be able to find both versions. Now both work in the similar ways, and they'll pair to Homey in the same way. So let me show you how to do this really quickly. So I just took down the IKEA smart blinds that I had mounted up here. Now the mounting system is actually really straightforward. There are 2 brackets, drill onto the wall with 2 screws each, and then you clip this into it. And so you can actually take it off, put it on really simply. I'm not really gonna show you how to do that, so refer to IKEA for instructions on how to mount it. Now what I do wanna show you is how the blinds itself kind of works. So you'll see that it actually comes with its own button and a signal repeater in case you're placing this far away from your Homey or your IKEA Hub if you're using that system. Now the smart blinds are battery powered. So if I open this little hatch here, you'll see that I can pull out the battery. And the battery you can actually plug in to a micro USB charger. So you can plug this into a charger every few months, maybe 6 months or so, to recharge your smart blinds. Once you're done, or once it's been charging for a few hours, we just plug it back in, close up the hatch, and it'll be ready to go. So now I've got the battery slotted back in. You can manually move the blind if you want to by using these 2 buttons here on the left side. So if I hit down, the blind will start coming down. Let me quickly stop it. And if I hit up, it'll roll back up. Super simple. But this is not really a smart blind yet. You still got to go over, press the buttons. Doesn't really make sense. So let's connect it up to Homey. Now to do that, we'll follow the pairing instructions in the Homey app. So following the instructions in the Homey app, I need to simultaneously press the up and down buttons on the roller blind until the LED starts blinking. So let's do this. All right, I can see the little light blinking. And now if we give it a moment to pair up, then the blinds will be added to Homey. So I hung up the smart blinds from IKEA, and I will show you them in action. So you can hold on the device tile, and then you'll see a slider for your blind position. So if I just tap this to go a bit lower, immediately the blinds start lowering. Now, obviously, you can also connect these settings to a flow. So let's say part of your morning routine and a morning flow, you can hit a button on the wall, your blinds open up, and maybe some soft music starts playing, or link it to your alarm, have a flow trigger based on your alarm. All of these things are possible with Homey. Now, I can't cover all of the flows in one video because then the video is going to be a couple hours long and nobody's going to want to watch it. So what I'll do is I'm going to share a few links to some interesting flows that we've created using these smart blinds from IKEA. And I do want to point out a few features, maybe compromises for these IKEA blinds. So they only come in certain sizes. So you got to make sure that the blinds that you're choosing do fit your window frame. And then be careful for how it's mounted, how big the blinds are themselves, can your window open and close? All of these considerations you sort of need to take into account because they're not tailor-made to each home. So you got to make sure that you have a fairly standard home for these to fit in. Another thing you need to take into consideration, if you're for instance planning to set these blinds up in the attic or relatively far away from where you have your Homey, then using the router that actually comes with them is quite handy because this will basically bridge the signal from Homey to the router device to your blinds. And that's incredibly helpful. Now we come to the fun part. So we've got all these different devices connected, and I kind of want to show off a few flows that I've created for this wireless dimmer from IKEA. And bear in mind, this is a €7 product, and it's a super handy little remote. So it's designed to obviously dim some lights, but I've also got it hooked up to my blinds here. So I can set this button up on the wall in a room that has smart blinds, smart lights, and I can control both of them with this one button using Homey. Now let me show you. If I press down, you'll see that the blinds will lower. And if I long press the down button, you'll see that my lights will dim down. Press it again, and it'll dim down again. One more time. And the up button will raise it. Let me show you what this looks like in the flows really quickly. I'll also share links to these flows down below in the description so you can recreate them for yourself. Now if I head into flows, you'll see my dim up lights is when the button the on button is pressed for a long time, then I set the relative dim level of both of these lights up by 20%. So it'll go basically in 5 stages across the brightness level. So let me show you. If I hold down the up button, then the lights will go to 20% dim. One more time, and they'll raise up to 40%. Now you can keep doing this, but obviously you can set those intervals for yourself. So if I jump into the flow card, you could change this to be 50%. Then you need to press it once and the lights will raise up to 50%. Press it again and they're at 100%. Simple maths. And you guys can create these flows for yourselves and tweak them to your liking. Now let me show you what the blinds look like. So if I head into the flows for the blinds down, you'll see the off button was pressed. So this one down here. And then it sets the position to 23%. Now this might sound very specific, but the blinds go from all the way up, which is 100%, to all the way down, which is 0%. And if you want, let's say your window is a certain width and your blinds are up here, and you want it to only cover that window, then you'll need to figure out what position it's at the bottom. And so you can do that with the set position to a relative amount. And then you can tweak it to really suit your needs. So you'll see it'll stop right down here because I've set it at 23%. Now with the wide assortment of all these different IKEA devices, you can get pretty creative. So you have, for instance, this remote, a little bit more obvious. You have dimming of the lights and left and right toggles. And you can set this up not only to control IKEA devices, but to control any device you have set up with Homey. So for instance, if you want to use this to control the volume of your IKEA or Sonos speaker, you can do that using simple flows. And I'll share a bunch of ideas down below, so make sure you check those out. Now, if you've watched this far, you're probably on the market for a few new smart home devices. And we have a bunch of different videos on different brands in the smart home market. And maybe I can recommend the Aqara Xiaomi video that highlights a few of their unique Zigbee devices. So make sure to check out that video and all the other content we have on the Homey channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.